So it's been a minute, honestly. Haven't really been filming as much content as I would have liked in 2025. However, that being said, 2026, honestly, I'm going to be picking up the camera a lot more. So I have been pretty busy just because I moved to Dubai probably 2.5 months ago now. We've set up residency here, set the company up. As some of you know, the last 3 years I've pretty much been living in Bali, which has been amazing, but I kind of was ready for a change, and I think Dubai is definitely the next big move. We'll probably be here for the next 5 years. Obviously not living here full time. I think it'll just be more of a base when we're jumping country to country, but I'm kind of tired of living out of a suitcase, so it'll be quite nice having an actual home because we just moved into this place. It's pretty bare at the moment. It came completely unfurnished, so as you can see, our living room literally has, we have a sofa, a TV and a PlayStation. It's pretty much a boys' crib at the moment. So it's me, my business partner, and actually we live with one of our clients who's pretty much also one of my best mates. His friend is over at the moment. So it's honestly, at the moment we're just grinding away, busy working. We've got all the desks in the background. And hopefully I am going to be documenting and filming just a lot more really, because it's probably my biggest regret, I would say, and that's not picking up the camera when I was, for example, 17 years old when I first started my marketing agency, because I see a lot of youngsters nowadays that, they're documenting their journey, they're still in school, they're growing an online business, and it's cool to see, but my biggest regret is actually not just showing the full journey of when I first started. Obviously, I'm now at the stage in business where, yes, it's nice to pick up the camera and give advice and talk about marketing, but at the end of the day, it's really cool seeing the come up, and it's nice seeing someone's journey. So I'm going to be literally filming as much as I can just to give insights and just inspire the younger generation, really. I get messages every now and again. It's pretty cool to see people at 16, 15, they're trying to start a business, they want to start an e-commerce brand, they want to start a marketing agency, and they're asking for advice. But at the end of the day, look, every business model literally works out there, and I'm not making this video, I'm not making my YouTube channel to actually sell people anything. It's more just to inspire. Like, I've just turned 24, and my biggest goal, I think, in my life, and I've just realized that my biggest purpose at the moment is definitely also to inspire younger people, inspire other people to kind of just take that leap and start a business. Because for me, I actually get a lot of joy, and I get a big thrive out of seeing people start businesses. I get a huge, I remember someone reached out to me, I think a few years ago. I gave a bit of advice, sent a few voice notes, and to now see them succeed with their business is honestly the coolest thing ever. It's mental. Even just like people who they've watched a video of you working from the beach on your laptop, and that's inspired them to go and take the leap to finally start their own online business. It is pretty cool, and that is the power of social media. That's the power of the online space, because when I first started, I didn't want to document my journey because I was just too embarrassed, really. I didn't actually want to pick up the camera. I'm now at the point in business where I'm like, honestly, who gives a fuck? Like, if I can actually give back and I can actually inspire the younger generation to start something, then look, I can pick up the camera like this. And sometimes at the beginning, you just don't really want to be like, there's a lot of people out there nowadays who kind of fake it till they make it. I see a lot of youngsters who are now just selling courses and they're selling mentorship programs because they're saying they grew their e-com brand to 100K a month. They're saying they grew their marketing agency to 10K a month, and now they're literally just selling a course for a 1K, 2K. Look, that's where you've got to read through the shit, and you've got to see through it, because too many of these gurus and online people have genuinely never actually built a proper online business, and they're now literally just making all their money from selling mentorship programs. And I know, because when I first started in the marketing agency space, I've invested a lot of my money. Like, the first bit of money I was making all went into investing in myself. That went into mentorship programs. That went into actually learning from entrepreneurs that have actually made it in business. And as you can imagine, over the years, yes, I've bought courses and I've bought programs that definitely weren't legit. Like, they were just full of a load of crap. I didn't really gain much information from it. So, you learn through the journey, and that's definitely one of my biggest pieces of advice to people nowadays. Like, everyone expects it to be handed on a plate. Everyone expects to go for a course or watch a YouTube video and know it all within a few hours or know it all within a few months. Like, business nowadays is all about trial and error, and especially with AI, like, trust me, if you're a youngster watching this now and you're not trying to learn AI, you're not trying to progress in the AI space, you're just going to be left behind. Even running a marketing agency now, yes, when I first started in 2018, sorry, I'm going dizzy, literally walking around in circles. Let me sit back inside. But back in 2018, Meta ads, Facebook ads were definitely a lot more advanced. Like, I would have to pull more levers in the ad account. I would have to, you need to understand more about marketing. But at the end of the day, the marketing principles will always remain the same. It doesn't matter whether the most advanced software comes out. If you've got it up here, and my biggest asset, I could probably lose it all tomorrow and still go make all the money back over the next year, just because my biggest asset is understanding marketing, understanding sales, and just understanding people in different industries. I've worked now with every industry you can think of. I've worked with property developers, real estate agents, I've worked with a lot of e-commerce brands, I've worked with loads of smaller lead gen businesses to celebrities. I've worked with some pretty cool businesses and individuals, and over those 8 years, I've learned a lot in marketing and sales. And my biggest advantage now is I've just learned from trial and error, because most of the stuff I learned wasn't from watching a YouTube video. It wasn't from going through one course and suddenly that set me up to succeed in business. A lot of it just was from trial and error and literally just learning from my mistakes. And I think a lot of youngsters nowadays, they expect it just to be handed to them on a plate just because they've gone through a course. And the truth is, you can't also go into business and try to start something and then give up 3 months later. You need to actually spend a good 6 months on something. And when I say spend 6 months on something, don't expect to put an hour a day, go watch Netflix for 2 hours, go play some PlayStation. You've got to put the work in. And I remember when I dropped out of school at 17, I thought it was going to be an easy ride, to be honest. Like, I signed my first few clients. I was like, great, I've earned my first bit of money. I told my parents, I was like, look, I'm ready. I'm going to drop out of school. Like, education was never for me. Most of my friends knew me as a bit of a muppet in school. I was a bit of a clown, to be honest. Like, never really took my education seriously. I'm pretty sure if I look back at my records, I'll find it at some point because it is kind of funny, but in the UK we have GCSEs, and for my GCSEs I actually probably got the lowest out of the whole year. So I got like all E's and C's and D's, and honestly I didn't really care about my GCSEs. I knew, it sounds cocky, but I knew from the age of like 14 or 15 I was never going to work for someone. I knew that I wanted to grow an online business. I wanted to do something for myself, and it's quite hard because especially in the early days, like, I never wanted my family, or I've got 2 sisters, I never wanted people to think, oh, well, Matty's selfish or Matty's cocky. Like, there were times where like my family, especially my parents, they would be like, all right, Matty, you're on your high horse now, like, take it easy, because I would tell them, like, I'm going to make 10K a month, I'm going to make 100K a month, and I'll tell them this, and they'll be like, look, just go to uni, go study, and maybe you'll get there. But at the end of the day, the world we live in now, like, honestly, it is insane. You don't need to go down the traditional route. Like, there's, over the years, especially the last few years, especially now living in like Dubai, I'm going to dinners where I'm sitting with people who are making a few million a month like it's nothing. And it just opens your eyes up. Like, I remember in the early days, my parents thought, when I told them I was going to make like 10K a month, 15K a month, they said I was crazy. They were like, come on, get off your high horse, focus on school. And look, the truth is, you have to have that cockiness in you. You have to have that confidence and drive, and kind of, essentially, you've got to be like stupid. Like, you've got to be crazy enough to think that's going to happen. And for me, the first few years in business was all about just literally changing my mindset. And that's where a lot of youngsters, I think, fail with businesses nowadays, because look, every business model works. Every single one out there all works. And if someone's done it, there's proof of concept there. It does work, but it always comes down to the individual. Especially over the last year, like, I've given advice here and there to a few people in the marketing space, and every single one that fails are the ones that literally just didn't put enough time. They procrastinated, and they admitted that their biggest failure came down to procrastination and just not moving the needle in their business. And if you're looking to start, if you're watching this now and you've got no idea what you want to do in life, look, just go and learn something, but actually spend the time on it rather than jumping business to business. Because a lot of people nowadays, I think what they really struggle with is procrastination. every business model works, like I just said, but their biggest issue is procrastination and not sticking to something long enough, because, well, the amount of kids nowadays who obviously are addicted to scrolling through Reels, scrolling through TikToks, like, people's attention spans are very, very short. And the problem with that is they can't just sit down for 2-3 hours and work. And, you know, in the early days, I remember literally waking up after I dropped out of school at 17, and I just woke up and went, fuck, like, I've got no one to tell me what to do. Like, I can literally just go and do what I want now. And you do need to have, sorry, I'm waffling on a bit here, but you do need to have kind of the discipline just to be like, I'm going to sit down for 8 hours now, I'm going to work on something. Because a lot of individuals just getting started in an online business, they, you know, maybe they're still working on 9 to 5, but they get home, they spend an hour on the business, then they go watch Netflix for 2 years. Like, you can't expect the business to work, and you can't expect in 6 months' time to go, oh, the business wasn't for me, I was a scam, all this, when you genuinely didn't put you didn't put your full effort into it. Now, moving on from that point, like, you need to have a very, very strong why if you're looking to get into business nowadays. Like, I have some friends out there who, you know, they've gone down the traditional route, they've gone to uni. Again, I'm only 24, so a lot of my mates have only just come out of uni, they're now working 9 to 5s. I've got nothing against going down the traditional route and working a job, nothing against it at all. There's a lot of people online who go, oh, it's so shit, like, you're just a slave to someone else. But at the end of the day, look, there's jobs out there where you do need to get a degree, and people are passionate for their job. Like, I get it, that's totally cool. But for people who want to start their own business, you just got to understand that if you're getting into it, you need to have a very, very strong why. You can't just get into starting an online business or your own business just because, oh, I want to make 100K a month, I want to make a load of money. Like, it's just not enough. I've got a very, very strong why. My why is always going to be my family, and it's always going to be my future family. And it's funny because my first tattoo, I literally got tattooed on my wrist. I know it's a bit cliche, but I got remember your why on your wrist. And even on my screensaver, every single day for the last year or two, my family are on my screensaver. And for me, it's a strong enough why to wake up every single day with the hunger and motivation to make my business work. And especially in the early days when you're struggling, because, wow, oh my God, there were days where I literally just couldn't afford, especially at the beginning, I couldn't afford rent the month. Like, there'd be 2 weeks left of the month, and I knew I had to pay X amount for rent, and I just didn't have it in my bank account. And it's honestly the worst position to be in. But honestly, that's what gives you the hunger to go and make money. And that's what gives me the hunger to succeed in business, because it's like, I've been at points in my agency where I've made a load of money and then lost it all. And that's the truth. I'm also someone that lives through experiences. A lot of people nowadays that I meet who have succeeded in a business, yes, they made a load of money, but they didn't really live their life. I've been traveling the world for the last 5 years, and I've loved every minute of it. I could probably die tomorrow and I would be very, very happy with the life I've had so far, even at the age of 24. So for me, living life to the fullest as well. It's not all about the money. It's not all about just growing a business. For me, it's just living life and having the freedom to just take my laptop with me and go work from the beach sometimes. Of course, at times, especially at the beginning, it's not going to be like that. You do need to obviously put the hard work in, put the sacrifice in. You've heard this all before. You don't need me to repeat it. Like, if you're looking to get into any business model nowadays, everyone's going to tell you that. But that's the truth. Like, at the beginning, you are going to have to put the 12-hour shifts in. You are going to have to put the hard work in, because trust me, you're not leaving the 9 to 5. You're going to be working you're going to be working from 7 a.m. to midnight most days at the beginning. But once you get through that first hurdle and you've got the business running, especially with AI nowadays, it is ridiculous. It's actually kind of scary where the world's going. I listen to pretty much every single day. I listen to at least one podcast, whether that's in the gym, whether that's on my morning walk. At the moment, I've got a very strict routine here in Dubai where we wake up at 6 a.m., my business partner and I, and also obviously my mate, and we literally just go for a walk all together. Sometimes I go alone when these lazy fuckers don't wake up. So yeah, every now and again, I give myself the chance just to listen to a podcast. And listening to these podcasts on AI recently, it's actually terrifying. Like, it's scary where the world's going, but at the end of the day, more than ever, now is the time to start an online business. Now is the time to try and grow something. And if you're in school, like, there's genuinely no excuses. Like, whether you're in school, whether you're in 9 to 5 now, everyone's got the same 24 hours. Everyone's got time in the day. And it frustrates me when people go, oh, but you don't understand my situation. Like, I just haven't got the time. And then they'll go and watch Netflix for 2 hours in the evening with their girlfriend. Like, you've got the time. You're going to have to sacrifice quite a bit at the beginning. But yeah, it's just funny how not everyone wants it. And at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur and growing a business, it's not for everyone. And, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going down the route of working for a job, working in the job, working a 9 to 5, working for someone else. So you've got a bit more freedom in your day to go and enjoy an evening with your girlfriend and watch Netflix. But at the end of the day, if you're growing an online business, nowadays, more than ever, at the beginning, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot. And because I'm telling you now, give it another 2-3 years, in 2-3 years' time, it's probably going to be a lot harder to start a business just because it's not going to be saturated. Because people nowadays, I hate the word saturated. Everyone goes, oh, well, I'm not going to start a marketing agency, Matty, because it's too saturated, or I'm not going to start an e-commerce brand because there's so many e-commerce brands out there. Literally, my mate here, he hasn't even transitioned into selling directly on his website. Most of his sales have been from Amazon. And, his worry was, oh, if I start selling on Meta, am I going to get any sales? Is it going to be too saturated? Look, the truth is, even in e-com nowadays, there's enough people in the world. You're never going to be too saturated. Never in a million years is one of these businesses going to be too saturated. What I'm saying though, in 2-3 years time, AI especially is going to get to the point where, yes, it's going to be too easy for people to start businesses. And that's where you're going to have to sacrifice a lot now so that you get in there earlier. Because in 2-3 years time, I am worried. Like I genuinely don't know where the world's going to go. I'm not worried about my position with having a marketing agency just because, like I said earlier on, marketing principles always remain the same. But however, that being said, AI is going to make it that bit harder. There's going to be a lot of people who are obviously going to be jobless, but at the end of the day, you need to take the advantage now. Like you need to step your game up and come out with something that's AI. Like for example, we work with AI day in, day out. Of course, we want to improve our services, so we're trying to implement AI as much as we can. But yeah, I'm kind of waffling on here now. So I'm going to wrap up the video there. I am going to be filming a lot of content in 2026, sharing my insights, what it's been like over the last 8 years of growing a marketing agency. But also, that being said, I'm going to be just filming more, like whether it's vlogs, whether it's fun content. I am actually off to London in the morning. So I'm going to be with my family for Christmas. Haven't spent Christmas with them for the last 2-3 years. So it's about time that I go back and spend Christmas with them. So I'm very, very excited. It's going to be very exciting. But also, we've got a ski trip coming up in January. So my business partner and I, with also the mate that we live with, us three and a few others are going skiing in Val d'Isère. So there's a lot to look forward to. And then obviously we'll be heading back to here in Dubai, our new home, which is very exciting. It's been a right nightmare furnishing it, but yeah, we're slowly getting there. Of course, I've got, Will, my business partner, he's obsessed with snooker and pool. So we've got ourselves a nice pool table outside. I love football, so got myself a nice little footy goal. But the next year is going to pretty much be going all in on the content. So I'm very excited, and hopefully, look, if you're watching this now, please comment below what type of videos you want me to make, whether that's just, Matty, what business model should I get into? Whether that's, can you help me with my mindset? Can you help me with, I don't know. I'm more than happy to make content in any industry, any topic. Just comment it below, and I would love to honestly just give back as much as I can, because my biggest regret has been, like I said, not documenting my journey. So hopefully one person finishes watching this video now, and they stop watching a load of other videos, they stop scrolling on Instagram, and they now just go take that leap to actually crack on with their business and just sit by their desk, get out of bed, whatever you're doing, just go and work on the business. Because now more than ever, the world's changing at a rapid pace, and you're just going to be left behind if you don't actually go and put your full effort into trying to grow something. So hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, it was a lot of me waffling, but at the end of the day, it's just me kind of giving a little introduction as to what's to come, because 2026, I guarantee you there's going to be at least, all right, let's not be over ambitious, but at least one video every single month. I was about to say one video a week, but it's not going to happen. So one video every single month, that is kind of my goal for 2026. And hopefully we can get into 2027 with a whole load of new subscribers and people that I've inspired to try to start their own business. And again, just enjoy the journey, come along with me. Enjoy what it's like having a marketing agency and just traveling the world really. So enjoy. Hope you like the video. Give it a like, comment below any topics you want me to talk about, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.